Hello everyone and welcome back to Napoleonic Wars. I'm here with Vince. Hello Vince.
Hello.
And we are playing the beta. So I have tons of questions for you today, and they're coming from comments on my previous video. Some of them might be easier to answer, some of them might be harder to answer, and some of them, I don't know if you can ever even answer them. But let's go ahead with the first one. Someone's asking me if there will be any naval battles.
Well, currently, probably not. We've been toying with the idea a very long time, but due to the engine limitations and the time frame that we had to make this, it's probably not going to be included, but you never know what the future may bring. We did include little boats that players can control around, and they're quite fun, and they can sink and so on.
Yeah, I tested them out on a map before. And I think I saw a map. I'm not gonna, spoil too much, but it was kind of like a beach landing, whereas the enemy team had to go up on beaches and then hide in trenches and whatnot. It was very interesting. Can't wait to try that out. Next one: is there a projected release date?
Not at this time. There is a prediction basically saying that it's somewhere in spring, but it's all up to our publisher, so it's not easy to say right now.
All right. Okay, well, but that's of course not your decision to make. But if you could decide, would it be ready for release straight away? It looks like we got cursors on the right.
Oh god. Oh, square.
Oh,
Oh, I'm too late. I'm dead. Anyway, what was your question?
No, let's just move on. I said that the release date. No, I was saying that if you could, if you thought the project was ready for a release as in its current state.
I think it is, but there's always room for improvement, and I'm definitely going to patch it.
Alright, good. Next one is a guy that's wondering two things. Will there be cannons which you start with, or will you have to find them on the map?
It depends on the map. For instance, the map we currently play as Commander Battles, you'll be spawning with a cannon of your choosing. You can choose if you want to spawn with the howitzer or the 12-pounder. And a lot of other maps have this feature as well that you can choose. But some maps have predefined cannons, whereas you need to go to them.
Alright, sounds interesting. The second question from this guy is it got the ability to build trenches? Because that's what it said on the website. If you could build trenches, basically.
Yeah, there's a bunch of maps where there's basically ground prepared for it, where you can dig your trench and get on inside a fort, for instance. Outside of that, the pioneers can also make their own constructions to hide behind and help their team members.
Alright, sounds interesting. Here's another question. Will there be invasion game mode? It was pretty good in Fire and Sword, so I think it would be a good idea.
Well, we thought about it for a very long time. In our opinion, it doesn't fit the era too much. You're not going to have a zombie type of gameplay. This is line battles, and that's why we did Commander Battles, whereas you have simulation of line battles with only, like currently we have 6 players, and it's very fun.
Exactly, we're only 6, and it feels like a majestic thing going down right here. Next question, which I think is quite important. I think that a lot of people have been wondering this. Will the game... No, sorry. I wonder if this DLC will be the death of Mountain Musket.
It all depends. I think the majority of the people will switch, but people can make up their own minds, look at the content and think it's worth it, and if they do, they can just buy it and play it.
Right. How many maps will be included?
We currently have a selection of about 25 unique maps, excluding any random maps, and we also have from a lot of maps different versions, showing different weather conditions, which could improve the gameplay if you want to.
Alright, next question is probably quite obvious to the hardcore players of Mountain Musket, but some might want to find an answer to this. Will it be more siege orientated or line battle orientated?
Both, actually. We implemented a large amount of siege gameplay with big forts, big cannons, and basically teamwork to bring down the enemy wall and get inside the fort to capture it. Outside of that, line battles is one of the biggest things in Mountain Musket, always has been. So we fully support that with more line battle maps, better line battle gameplay, and of course this bot battle mode.
Alright. Next question. This guy wondering if there will be, if it's possible to have a sprint ability with the engine. This could be useful for chargers, he says.
No, currently you basically defaultly run. When you keep running forwards without turning around or looking around too much, you'll get in a little sprint mode. At the same time, if you want to march, you can click your shift button and you'll just keep marching. So it's a toggle button.
Alright. Sounds interesting. I was just in a melee there, got myself stabbed in the face. And, well, it's just as I spawned, my bot did the work for me. Nice. Alright, will this only be on Steam? This has been answered before, but some might have missed it.
No, it will be buyable from different types of websites. I heard some is also play.com. I'm not really familiar with it, but there's a large amount of different websites where you can buy it, and you can buy it without having Steam.
Alright.
So it's not limited to Steam only, but obviously it's going to be on Steam.
Right, cool. Someone's asking me if there will be a possibility for people to create a single-player campaign.
Yeah, we currently have still a bunch of Warband code still in, capable of doing that. During the course of our project, we also made a single-player campaign in the way that you could play like Call of Duty and mission-based. Well, we took it out since it was not the perfect quality, but modders will be able to implement it again if they want to.
Alright, sounds interesting. Someone was also asking here if would you be able to add another faction after the game is released? I mean, the original Warband had 6 factions, and this DLC will have 5, which is totally cool. Besides, I would love to play as a Spanish guerrilla force.
Well, making a faction is not as easy as it sounds. We're talking about making 10 to 14 different regiments with equipment sets, weapons, hats, uniforms,
voices,
all that.
Music, everything really that involves.
Yeah,
exactly.
Music, voices, and outside of that, you also have to remember that each regiment has 3 to 5 ranks. So that's also all kinds of unique uniforms you need to make.
Yeah, it just multiplies on itself. The further in you go, the more and more things you have to make. And even, I mean, as let's say there were like 10 basic sounds for the infantry. Then if there were to be different variations, like for example you have the 5th KGL on the British side, which can, well actually, well they speak German, which is highly accurate. So, you know, maybe there was a Spanish regiment that spoke Italian, you know, I'm not too far in on that part, but yes, it's true. There would have to be a lot of work, which is very true.
I mean, what we thought of, we could also, for instance, add a regiment inside a country, which is actually not original from the country, but fought for the country. A good example is, for instance, Poland, whereas we included 2 regiments from the Polish region inside the French army.
Yeah, they were very famous for their
oh yeah, definitely. Polish regiments were also known to be one of the best.
Elite as well.
Yep.
Right. Someone has also asked me here if deploying pikes and stakes will kill cavalry, or will it only break the movement?
It'll break the movement at this time. We're thinking about implementing an auto kill, but that might make the horses really weak. So we're still looking into it, what might be the best solution. But pioneers can easily create a lot of props. It's fast, so it's a bit tricky to make it balanced.
All right. Here we also go. This is looking back at the previous question about the engine's limitations. But as you've seen, you can control ships. You know, the ships are entities that actually aren't just air. I mean, I placed a flag on one of the ships and it stayed on the ship, and the flag was oriented in a natural direction of the wind, so it was all very realistic. So someone was wondering if it's actually possible in the future, with some dedication and time, to create naval battles or ships that, well, would reassemble a big frigate.
Yeah, it's still possible. I mean, nothing is impossible. It just needs a lot of time. And basically, because it did that, we decided to focus our attention to the other parts of the game that we can make perfect in every way. And if we have time left, and there's a lot of people that can finance us in that direction, we could make naval battles, sure.
Alright, cool. So then there's another question here that's a bit more personal, that doesn't really involve too much about the mod, but someone's asking here, Vince, what was your reaction when Tailworlds asked you to work for them?
Well, to be fair, I actually asked them. I basically had always a lot of contact with the Tilts developers and with Paradox themselves, and they already noted our mod back then.
It was almost
really
bigger than
yes.
Warband itself, to be quite honest.
So I just sent them a really long game design plan, and they liked it, and they got on board.
Sweet. Alright, that would be the questions for today. Don't hesitate to ask Vince any questions, because he will answer it all. And you know what, I'm gonna make up a little cool giveaway here. If you ask a cool and creative question, I will buy you the DLC when it comes out on Steam. So go for it, ask something creative and nicely, and we'll make sure to include that in the next developer commentary. I mean, we might be able to show something different than maybe we'll get more players on and do a bit of a team deathmatch, but this commander battle mode is insanely fun, so who knows. But thank you, Vince, for your time. It was a nice time. Should we go ahead and charge them or something? They seem to be having a quite low number up there on the hill.
Yeah, let's just go on and get them.
Right. I really like the British voices. Really gets me excited. Company! All that. And I do believe the Highlanders have, of course, they have some quite Scottish characteristics. So
yes, definitely. They have their own voice commands in Scottish accent with Scottish.
Is this the same voice actor?
Yeah, he tried really well. It's Joseph.
It's really well made.
Yeah, he lives in London actually, so I was really amazed that he could do at least some Scottish accent. But we really love him.
Alright, what about the Russian voices?
They're made by a bunch of guys. You have to forgive me for not knowing their names out of my head right now.
There's a lot of people included in this. And then we have, of course, got myself sniped. The Prussians and the Austrians as well. Maybe.
Yeah, they're all made by Tassilo, or also known as Ryan Orst.
Alright, maybe in an upcoming video I can show a bit more on the Austrian side, depending on what kind of information. Alright, I think we should end there. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back with another video shortly enough. See you then.
See you.